too.
The meeting will please come to order. This is the duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of our city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of the court is final. Respected does not go to the mayor of the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you do have recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against. Final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, pull the board.
Mr. Bias.
Here.
Mr. Naptree.
Here.
Ms. Radakovich.
Here.
Mr. Riggs.
Here.
Ms. Rohr.
Here.
Chairman Hennessy.
Here.
All right, first on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from December 19th of 2024.
Motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second to approve. Pull the board.
Mr. Naptree.
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich.
Aye.
Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Ms. Rohr.
Aye.
Mr. Bias.
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, next on the agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. I will note that there is only one agenda item today, and that is a public hearing. And if you'd like to speak then as part of the public hearing, you're welcome to, or if you'd like to speak now, that is also appropriate. All right, well, looks like no one at this time. Next is old business public hearing, of which we have none. Next is new business public hearing. And under this, we have one agenda item with 2 petition numbers because there's 2 different votes on this. All right. The case is petition number 2025-1 and 2025-2. The applicant in this matter is Francisco Cisneros, representing Pilsen Wellness Center Incorporated. The status of the applicant is employee of the property owner. And the owner is Pilsen Little Village Community Mental Health Center Incorporated. The location is 971 Collins Street. For the request is for case number 2025-1 is a special use permit to allow community mental health services, which is an RB, restricted business use, in the I-2 General Industrial Zoning District. The second is case number 2025-2, which is a variation of use to allow an RB, restricted business use, in the I-2 General Industrial Zoning District. Under purpose, the applicant is requesting a special use permit and a variation of use to allow a community mental health office within the I-2 General Industrial Zoning District. Community health offices are a permitted use in the RB Restricted Business Zoning District. RB uses are prohibited though in the I-2 Zoning District, but are allowed as special uses within the I-1 Light Industrial District. The special use permit and variation of use request must be considered by the City Council following the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Under site-specific information, the half-acre subject property contains a 1,885 square foot, 1-story brick building surrounded by an asphalt parking area. The property was originally part of the U.S. Steel Mills complex along Collins Street. The subject lot was parceled off prior to 1972 when the existing building was constructed. The property was last occupied by New Century Federal Credit Union. It has been vacant since 2012. In November of 2022, City Council approved a special use permit to allow banquet hall, which is a B3 general business use, at this location. The banquet hall petitioner submitted permits to remodel the site, but no permits were ever issued and no work was done on the property. The current owner, Pilsen Wellness Center, purchased the property in May of 2024. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the site was located on the west side of Collins Street, just north of Francis Street, within the Collins Street neighborhood. The former U.S. Steel Administration Building was located directly south of the property until it burned down in September of 2024. The zoning and land use for the adjacent properties are as follows. To the north is B3 General Business, and it's the Azteca de Oro Banquet Hall. To the south is I2 General Industrial, and it's vacant. It was the site of the former U.S. Steel Administration Building. To the east is B3 General Business, and it's a mix of residential and commercial uses. To the west is I2 General Industrial, and it's the former U.S. Steel Mills Complex. Under applicable regulations, we have section 47-10.11 RB district permitted uses, section 47-14.3 prohibited uses in industrial districts, section 47-5.2C criteria for issuance of a special use permit, section 47-1728, which is defines variation of use. Under discussion, the petitioner, Pilsen Wellness Center Incorporated, is requesting approval of a special use permit and variation of use to allow a community mental health office, which is an RB restricted restricted business district use, and an I2, which is a general industrial zoning district. Pilsen Wellness Center Incorporated, formerly known as the Pilsen Little Village Community Mental Health Center, was established in 1967 and seeks to provide quality and affordable, culturally sensitive human services to a multicultural population. Their administrative offices are located in Chicago, and they have numerous programming and service locations in Chicago and its immediate suburbs. At the proposed Joliet location, they would provide outpatient behavioral health services such as mental health counseling, substance use prevention, and youth programs. The existing building would be remodeled to contain 8 offices, a reception center, and a break room. The petitioner would be required to complete the same site improvements that were required with the 2022 banquet hall approval, including reestablishing the asphalt parking lot in accordance with city standards, installing perimeter landscaping in accordance with the city's landscape regulations, and replacing any deteriorated portions of sidewalk along Collins Street. Proposed floor plans and a site plan are attached. The subject site, like the former U.S. Steel Mills site, has I2 zoning, or has had I2 zoning since at least the 1960s. The zoning ordinance does not permit RB uses within the I2 district, although they are allowed as special uses within the I1 district. Therefore, the petitioner must request a special use permit and a variation of use to allow the proposed office use in the I2 district. Staff feels that the request is appropriate for the site given its history as a commercial building and its location along a commercial corridor with a mix of B1, which is neighborhood business, and B3, which is general business uses. Under conditions, if the zoning board desires to approve the special use permit to allow community mental health services, which is an RB restricted business use in the I2 general industrial zoning district, and a variation of use to allow an RB restricted business use in the I2 general industrial zoning district located at 971 Collins Street, the following conditions would be included. 1, that all property improvements shall be completed prior to the business opening, which include the reestablishment of an asphalt parking lot according to city requirements, including curb and gutter. B, or including that, is also the installation of landscaping per an improved landscape plan. Number 2 would be that the deteriorated portions of the public sidewalk along Collins Street shall be replaced. 3, that the special use granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or a certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 180 days of the effective date of this ordinance, and the erection or alteration of a building is started or the use is commenced within such a period. And the rest of this language is standard, and it's in the staff report packet. Number 4, should the property be declared as a public nuisance, it may be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Petitioner present.
Good afternoon.
I swear you in, sir. You swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law.
I do.
Your name and address.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My
And
name
your
is,
name and address, sir.
pardon?
Your name and address?
My name and address. My name is Jaime Zavala, and I live in Chicago. Good afternoon. My name is Jaime Zavala. Once again, I'm the clinical director at Pilsen Wellness Center. So on behalf of Pilsen Wellness Center, I'm here to advocate for a community-based mental health center in the city of Joliet.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. Should I repeat myself? Okay. And so here, I really want to emphasize the importance or the need of mental health services, not just in the city of Joliet, but in general. I would like to just read off some statistics that the University of Loyola University has shared with Pilsen Wellness Center in a recent collaboration. In general, there's a mental health crisis in the U.S. where 1 in 5 adults are affected. For young adults, that rises to 40%. And in my experience working with children and adolescents, it remains the same, but also has worsened due to the recent pandemic. Access to care is also an issue. While the percentage of adults receiving treatment increased from 19.2% in 2019 to 21.6% in 2021, 42% of adults with a diagnosable condition reported being unable to afford treatment in 2023. So we hope to improve the access to care. Disparities in treatment, BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous, people of color communities experience high rates of mental health issues, but have lower treatment access. And this continues on and on and on in every community. Non-Hispanic Black individuals in Chicago have higher emergency department visits rates for suicide attempts compared to other racial groups, and we see the same trends in other cities. One other stat that we don't necessarily talk about in the field as much as it should, but there's a workforce shortage. There's a lack of trained mental health professionals in underserved communities. And we pride ourselves in training mental health providers, in providing culturally sensitive services to the communities and families. So we really work closely not just with the participants, but also with community institutions, especially schools and other community centers. So we really collaborate with the whole community, not just the person in front of us. And with that said, thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Do you own the building or you're renting it?
Pardon? Can you repeat that question?
Do you own it or are you renting it?
We own it.
You own it. And you're gonna only use it just for office? No, is that what's stated?
We're providing, right, in order to provide mental health services. We have flyers, if I can go ahead and pass them out. But, we provide, for example, services that involve assessing individuals and developing a treatment plan. We provide individual therapy services, including family services, group therapy services. We also provide psychiatric services. And social support services, linking individuals to other social needs, for example, like housing or even finding employment. So in addition to providing mental health services, we also try to address other disparities involved in treatment.
Any other questions by the board for this one?
What would your hours of operation be?
Typically, our hours of operation, and I'm not sure if my colleagues can answer that, but typically from like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. We also collaborate with 24-hour crisis intervention, programs. In fact, I was recently just approached by a crisis intervention team in the city of Joliet. So, we although we don't necessarily cover 24 hours, or may not necessarily work a 24-hour shift. We certainly collaborate with 24-hour crisis teams in the city.
Anything else?
Yeah. How many clients do you usually within a month that you service?
Within a month, it's hard to say, depending on the size of how many providers we have. But it's really hard to say. Every community is different. We provide services to many communities in the city of Chicago, Chicagoland area, and nearby suburbs. Every community is different in my experience. But in every community, there's a high number of a demand for services. The institutions in the community, their involvement and their engagements is also important. Normally, individuals don't voluntarily seek services; they are referred to services, and we normally get referred. Services are referred to participants by schools, largely from schools. So the community engagement is also a factor in that question.
One other question, are there any other agencies in the area that provide the same service that you do?
I believe there are other organizations that provide services to the city of Joliet. And we're just another organization that wants to provide services. There's never enough. I just mentioned the access to services, and so there's just never really enough mental health facilities in the community, in my opinion.
I don't want to put words in. Is this even? There it is. Hi. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you did indicate that you focus low income minorities, cultural sensitivity. Do you take those with insurance and without? And do you offer any of those volunteer services, and do you do any youth programming?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we normally focus primarily on Medicaid, but we also, through grant programs and other types of programs, and also private practice services. So we offer all types of services to accommodate everyone.
So you don't turn people away based off of not having mental health coverage, or you do?
It depends on their insurance.
Okay.
And other factors.
Okay.
But we do try to expand services through grants and also through our clinically licensed staff.
Okay. And it'll be multilingual,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
How are you funded? Do you
Funded?
get any other money other than people who walk in with insurance? Are you funded by the government, local, state, city?
Local, state, city, through grant writings, depending on where they're being offered from, or to who we have to apply to.
How long you been in this business?
Personally, myself, 13 years.
Okay.
Anything else?
Where are your other locations?
Let's see here if I can name them on top of my head. Outside of the city of Chicago, we have one in Melrose Park, Stone Park, Bergwin. We have Cicero. And then within the city, we have Pilsen, Little Village, McKinley Park, Southeast Chicago. That's kind of one of the newest locations there. And I believe I've covered all of them. But yes, we cover a wide range of areas in the city of Chicago.
Anything else?
Sorry, one more question. Do you get a lot of your referrals based off of other social service agencies, local? Is that kind of how you get your referral network?
Yes, that too. Some are just understaffed, or long wait lists. And so, the responsible thing to do, and just like what we would do, is also refer to individuals to other nearby community mental health centers.
Thank you. This gentleman want to speak?
Yes, sorry.
I must swear you in, sir. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present to be the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Your name and address.
My name is Paul Naranjo. Good afternoon, honorable members of the zoning board. I work for the Pilsen Wellness Center, and my address, I live in the city of Chicago. My home address is 6922 South Kruger in Chicago, but the main office for the administration is 2319 South Damon Avenue, Chicago, Illinois 60608. First of all, it's an honor to be here and representing the organization with some members of the team. Our corporate risk officer, Toshiro, who is right there sitting, our clinical director, Jaime, but also here on behalf of Dr. Francisco Cisneros, who appears as the applicant for the petition that we are requesting today. My role within the organization is the Division Director of Early Intervention, so I manage services for youth, children, and adolescents too, violence prevention, substance use prevention, after school and out of school programs, whenever the schools are closed, so we have those kind of programming too. And I've been, working for the agency since the year 2005, so I kind of been sticking around for quite a while now. Why are we here? We're here because we look for communities where there is a need for this type of services. So although there are other providers, such as I saw the list, in the staff report, including, Aunt Martha's and other organizations, which may provide similar services. However, a lot of these services, they don't offer the same wraparound services that we do offer as a community agency. And so including, the youth programming, the violence prevention. In the past, actually, some of these organizations in the city of Chicago have looked, to collaborate with us for different types of services that have been provided for the community. Currently, yes, we do accept Medicaid. However, in some of our sites in Chicago and other provider communities, we do accept also private insurances now. So we have started, so that we are not so dependent on public funding. Sometimes, there is the will, but the dollars are not there, for us to keep going. So we have, to be creative when it comes to that. Then as far, as us, expanding into this community, is also based on the needs of the community. We do not turn people away. So, to answer the question that you had for my colleague, we don't turn people away at the Pilsen Wellness Center. We look, for different grant opportunities, whether at the state level, local level, county level too. And actually, I do manage, some services that are funded through the Illinois Department of Human Services, for instance. In the case, some grants that we have for mental health, which will be the services, the main focus here in this community, we have grants through the Division of Mental Health of IDHS. So in that case, those will be, some of the funding streams, or also, we do have the use of Medicaid, which, thank God up to now, is has allowed us, to keep growing based on the needs of our communities. So, and then, what makes us unique, as a community agency? What makes us unique is that, we have, about at least 70% of our staff are bilingual, bicultural in both English and Spanish. About 30%, they are English speaking only. And we try to resemble the communities that we serve. So we try, to recruit. We do make good faith efforts, from the same communities to bring, some of those people who belong to the site, to recruit them from the community. If we cannot find them, then of course we have to find clinicians. We have to find staff with the expertise or with the skills that are needed, just to satisfy whatever the needs are of each location that we serve. For instance, as an example that I can provide in the community area of Chicago, of South Chicago, one of the grants that I oversee, in that one, out of the 6 staff that were, to be working for that program for a violence prevention grant, everybody was recruited from South Chicago. How? Through referrals, from pastors, rabbis, priests. So we do cross-collaborate, with anyone who is interested in the wellness, in promoting the wellness of our communities. That is to say, faith-based organizations, schools. So we work a lot, with for the referrals with school principals. Many times they are very busy, so then we reach out to the principal assistants, and they have been actually the key, a great ally, to many of our sites, and that has, enabled us to actually identify those individuals who are in need, of the services that we can offer to them. So we're here, today. Yes. We may sound, like kind of an outsider trying to come into this community, but at the end of the day, we are a community agency of the state of Illinois. So keeping that in mind, as a community agency of the state of Illinois, the owner of Pilsen Wellness Center is the community. So basically, I mean, by allowing us to come and serve the communities that are needing, like these kind of like behavioral health services, thank God, like the stigma is going away little by little as we continue to educate and to empower communities as far as, I mean, there is nothing wrong, with going to a psychologist. Many times, like even myself, like I have considered, going and just, venting, because sometimes we have, like things that we need to let go ourselves. So this is about, like greater than us as individuals, greater than us as a community agency, but this is about, like so leaving a lasting, footprint into this community so that this, a lot of these vulnerable populations are not left on their own. So, I mean, I just would like to thank you all, like for taking the time to listen to myself, to some members of our team. And also, we look forward to be a strong partner, a good partner to this city, so that we can, I mean, when you look back, a few years forward, and then you can say, we made a good decision. So we won't disappoint you. We are committed to empower the community, and also, we want to bring back, like jobs. We want to bring back, like wellness, health into this community. So that's what we're all about. Thank you so much.
Anyone else wishing to speak on your behalf? Any further questions by the board?
No, I will be the last one. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Questions? Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? The chair closes discussion to the floor and asks the board for motion and a vote.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition number, are we going to take these separately?
Yeah.
Number 2025-01, special use. On the board.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Naptree?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye. Now motion for petition 2025-02.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Pull the board.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Naptree?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye.
All right, this, both petitions will go to the city council for their second meeting in February with a recommendation for approval from the zoning board of appeals. All right, next on the agenda is old or new business, not for final action or recommendation. We have nothing listed underneath that as an agenda item. Next, we have public comment. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding non-agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. Is there anyone here who would like to speak under public comment? With that, it's adjournment.
Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Pull the board.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Bias?
Aye.
Mr. Naptree?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Chairman Hennessy.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.